Okay, today we will discuss about the multivariate analysis of the variance. Please go to the Google Classroom. And you will get the material there. Okay, Amit, please start reading. Is it visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Can you read it?
Yes, I can read it, sir, but it will be better if someone reads it because actually I'm having fever.
Oh, you are in travel. Okay, Shubham, can you read? Hello, Shubham. Shubham, are you here? Okay, Kavita, are you here?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Kavita. Please read the MANOVA.
Multivariate analysis of variance is an extension of the univariate analysis of variance ANOVA to multiple dependent variables. With ANOVA test for difference among group means for a single dependent variable. MANOVA examine whether there are statistically significant difference among group means on multiple dependent variables simultaneously. This method is particularly useful when the dependent variables are correlated, as it can account for the interrelationships among them.
Yeah, that means in case of the MANOVA, we will deal with the multiple dependent variables. Dependent variables will be more than 2. Okay, or more than 1. Dependent variables will be there. But in case of the ANOVA, we are dealing with the single dependent variable. And since we are using the more number of dependent variables, we can use the more number of independent variables also. Independent variables means independent groups. Okay. Now you read historical background.
Historical background. MANOVA was developed in the mid-20th century as a way to handle more complex experimental designs that involve multiple outcome measures. It has its root in the work of Roland Fisher, who developed ANOVA and was later extended to the multivariate case by other statisticians. Theoretical framework. MANOVA is based on the same general linear model as ANOVA. The primary difference is that MANOVA involves multiple dependent variables, which are combined into a single composite variable. This analysis then tests whether this means of these composite variables differ across groups.
Okay, so linear combination of the number of variables that will be considered as the dependent variable. Okay. So if the variables, they are not correlated with each other, then we cannot use the MANOVA for our analysis because we are dealing with the composite score. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now next.
So, sir, how the composite score is calculated?
Yeah, that is in the
by
model. That is in the model. That
by
is in the
simply
model.
adding? No.
No. It is not
Okay.
adding.
Okay.
It is not adding because each variable has the unique variance as well as the common variance. Therefore, the common variances will be accounted and unique variances that will be separated.
Okay.
Okay, next.
The general form of the MANOVA model can be expressed as y is equal to xb plus e, where y is a matrix of the dependent variables, x is a matrix of the independent variables, b is a matrix of coefficient, e is the matrix of error terms.
Keep in mind that here it is clearly written that it is a matrix. Okay, it is not written that is y is the dependent variable. It is written that it is the matrix of the dependent variable. Similarly, matrix of the independent variable, matrix of coefficient, matrix of error terms.
So matrix mean covariate.
Matrix means there is some linear combination. Next.
Assumptions of MANOVA. Each observation should be independent of the others. The dependent variables should follow a multivariate normal distribution within each group. The covariance matrices of the dependent variables should be equal across the groups. The relationships among the dependent variables should be linear. The dependent variables should not be too highly correlated with each other. Variation of these assumptions can lead to inaccurate results. For instance, if the assumption of homogeneity of covariance matrices is violated, the type 1 error rate may be inflated, leading to false positives.
Okay, so if you find that is the dependent variables, they are highly correlated with each other, maybe the correlation is more than 0.9 like that. So there is a high probability for the multicollinearity. So we must be very much clear about that, the multicollinearity issue.
Sir, can you explain this example?
Which one? For example, you are taking Rasgulla. Have you seen Rasgulla?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Pantua.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Kalojam.
Kalojam.
Yeah, you have taken. So their shape is same, right? But their taste is different. Their shape and their preparation is almost same. Okay, but they have some unique characteristics. they have some common variance as well as some of the unique variance. Okay. And if you think that is, if I give you the black jam, as if I tell you that this is the Rasgulla, then what will happen? You are thinking that the false variable as the Rasgulla. Okay. So this is called the multicollinearity, because the two of variables, they are highly correlated with each other in terms of their attributes. This is clear now?
Yes, what is this type one error, sir?
Anything you were saying?
I don't error. What is type one error, sir?
What is multicollinearity?
No, asking about type 1 error, like how this is calling.
Oh, type 1 and type 2
error.
error. There are two types of error. That if there it is a false positive, then that is the type 1 error. And false negative, that is the type 2 error. So two types of errors are there. So for example, I am testing, that is whether I have the dengue or malaria, and maybe some of the examination result says, yes, I have the malaria or I have the dengue. But actually I do not have the dengue. Then that will be the false positive. I think in medical science, you know very much.
Yes.
Many women, they admitted into the hospital only for the false pregnancy. And I think you know it.
No, sir. False pregnancy in the
Huh?
No, sir. False pregnancy with pregnant with false pregnancy do not admit, sir. Only test outdoor basis, and there is also the false or
No, because when I visited Eden Hospital in Kolkata, and there I have seen that is many pregnant, many women, they told that is, sir, we have this type of pain. And when I contacted the psychiatrist told me, no, that pain is not the genuine pain.
pseudo pregnancy, sir.
Yeah, pseudo pregnancy.
Okay. Many cases there is false positive also comes, but this type of percentage not come, sir.
And there is some etiology also. That is not the issue here. Okay, now you go to the statistical test in MANOVA.
Statistical tests in MANOVA. Several test statistics can be used in MANOVA to determine whether there are significant difference among group means. The most commonly used are, this is the most widely used test statistic in MANOVA. It tests the null hypothesis that the group means are equal on all dependent variables. This test.
So if it is null hypothesis that the group means are equal to all on all dependent variables, what is the meaning of this?
There is no.
There is no effect. Okay. There is no effect of independent variable on the dependent variable. Next.
This test is more robust to violations of the assumptions, particularly when sample size are unequal. This
Yeah, when
test,
sample sizes are unequal, at that time this violation occurs.
this
Next.
test is equivalent to the multivariate t-test when there are only two groups. This test is sensitive to the largest eigenvalue of the hypothesis matrix, making it powerful for detecting difference along the most discriminant dimension.
Okay,
Each
so this eigenvalue is very important when I think Madam Shumona, she taught you the principal component analysis. There she taught you about the eigenvalue. I think you can remember. So this eigenvalue indicates the dispersion. Okay. And if the dispersion is high, that means the effect is more. But if the dispersion is low, that means effect is very low. Next.
Each of these test statistics has its own advantages and limitations, and the choice of which to use can depend on the specifics of the data and research design steps in conducting MANOVA. Null hypothesis H0, the group means on the combined dependent variables are equal. Alternative hypothesis HA, at least one group mean is different on the combined dependent variables. Verify that the assumptions of MANOVA are met. This can include testing for multivariate normality, homogeneity of covariance matrices, and check for multi-collinearity among the dependent variables. Using statistical software, input the data.
Okay, one sec. Now, students, can you tell me that is if there is multicollinearity, then what is the solution?
Choose one of the variable which is having higher correlation.
If the multicollinearity among the dependent variables are high, then what is the solution? Solution is the factor analysis or PCA, principal component analysis. Okay, next.
Using statistical software, input the data and specify the model. This software will calculate the chosen test statistics such as Wilks, lambda, Pallialis stress, and provided p-value to determine the significance of the results. If the test statistic is significant, p greater than 0.05, reject the null hypothesis and conclude that there are difference among the group means on the combined dependent variables. If not, fail to reject null hypothesis. If the MANOVA is significant, conduct post hoc test to determine which specific group differ on which dependent variables.
Okay, now this part is very important since it deals with the linear combination of the effect of independent variables on the dependent variables, on the set of dependent variables. We depend upon the Wilks lambda or Pillai stress. Now, if you think that is the Wilks lambda value is less, that is close to 0, that means the differences among the groups are very high. particularly for that dependent variables, list of the dependent variable. But it is not in case of the Pillai stress. So the MANOVA provides us the knowledge about the maximization of differences among the groups and minimization the differences within the groups. Okay, this part is vital.
Sir, can you please repeat this part?
Maximization of the differences among the groups and minimization of the differences within the group. So within group variance will be smaller and between group variances that will be higher. Okay. The main issue. Why the between group variances are high? Because of the effect of independent variables. Okay.
So,
Amit, I cannot understand. What are you telling? You can write in the chat box because your voice is breaking. Farah, can you guide me what Amit is telling? What Amit is telling, I cannot follow. Kavita, can you follow?
No, sir.
Sir, voice is breaking.
Voice is breaking.
Sir, we cannot hear what he's saying.
Chat box is also empty. Say write in chat box.
Yes. Amit, can you send me on WhatsApp what you are asking? Okay, he's right. Okay, Sir, he will write. What to do PCA and when to do MANOVA, sir? That is what he is asking.
Oh,
when
PCA.
to do PCA and when to do MANOVA?
MANOVA we will use when we want to study the effect of independent variable on the set of dependent variables. That is for the MANOVA. That is not for PCA. PCA is for dimension reduction. So if you find that is the many variables, they are highly correlated with each other, then we can do the PCA to reduce the number of dimensions. PCA is different, MANOVA is different. Both things are totally different.
Yes, but here we can, in MANOVA, we can do PCA if our dependent variables are having
if
high
you think that
collinearity.
there is some multicollinearity
yes,
in the dependent variable, then then you
We
can
do
use the
PCA.
PCA.
Okay.
Okay.
So what are the data we are collecting? That we will bring up question with.
I cannot understand.
We cannot hear you, Amit. Can you please communicate with us in chat box?
सर विल्क्स लैम्डा की वैल्यू क्लोज टू 0 होगी, इसका मतलब कि कोई
Wilks lambda. Yeah.
हाँ Wilks lambda की value?
When the Wilks lambda close to 0, that means the independent variable has more effect on the dependent variable.
Okay, sir. और
Okay.
Pillai's trace में
For
ऐसा नहीं है.
example, it is 0.05 like that, or 0.24,
Okay.
or 0.34, whatever might be.
Okay.
That means the differences are high.
Okay.
That means independent variable has more effect on the dependent variable.
Okay.
That
Also
is for Wilks lambda.
Okay.
But that is not for Pillai's trace or for other statistics.
Okay. ठीक है सर. जैसे अनोवा में टकी और वो सब मेथड्स थे, वही इसका ये मनोवा वर्जन है.
Yeah,
right, sir?
in case of the ANOVA, we are not using Wilks lambda. Wilks lambda is only for the MANOVA, multivariate analysis of the variance.
Okay.
And when you have noted the multivariate analysis of variance is significant, then you can go for the ANOVA. Okay. Now, Kavita, please continue.
Sir, Amit is also asking something, that the questionnaire that value questionnaire, on that he has to do MANOVA or PCA, sir?
In case of the value questionnaire,
Yes, sir.
No, if you find that is the most of the values, they are highly correlated with each other, then you have to do the PCA. MANOVA for the mean differences, group mean differences. But PCA is for dimension reduction. Because I have done the factor analysis of the value with Hardik Shah. Possibly you will find in the Google. Hardik is the at that time was the student of IIM Meghalaya, Rajiv Gandhi Institute of Management. Now it is IIM. At that time, he was there. Okay, next.
Sir, MANOVA is used in the experimental study.
Yeah, definitely. MANOVA you can use in the experimental study. MANOVA you can use for the survey research. When there are different groups are there, and you are thinking that is the group has the effect on the dependent variables, set of dependent variables. MANOVA is usually used for the survey research. Okay, next. Hello, Kavita, please continue.
Yes. If the MANOVA is significant, conduct post hoc test to determine which specific groups differ on which dependent variables. This can involve in univariate ANOVA or either multivariate test. Present the result in a clear and concise manner, including the test statistics, p-value, and effect size. Discuss the implications on the findings in the context of the research question. Advantage of MANOVA.
Yeah, advantages of MANOVA.
MANOVA allows for the simultaneous analysis of multiple dependent variables making it more efficient than conducting separate ANOVAs for each variable. By analyzing multiple dependent variables together, MANOVA controls the several overall type 1 error rate, reducing the likelihood of false positives. MANOVA can detect multivariate effects that might not be apparent in univariate analysis, providing a more comprehensive understanding of the data. By considering the correlations among dependent variables, MANOVA can reduce error variance, increasing the power to detect significant effects. Limitation of MANOVA. MANOVA is more complex than ANOVA, requiring greater understanding of multivariate statistics and the assumption of the method. MANOVA is sensitive to violations of its assumptions, particularly the assumption of homogeneity of covariance matrices. MANOVA typically requires larger sample sizes than univariate ANOVA to achieve adequate power. Interpreting the result of MANOVA can be challenging, particularly when there are multiple dependent variables with different scales and units.
Okay. So this is the advantage and the disadvantage. In case of the MANOVA, your sample size should be very high. Number of observations that should be high.
Sir, what is effect size, sir?
Effect size means independent variables effect. That is whether the size of effect is large or size of effect is small. Because we will get the effect of the variable, but what is the size of the effect? Whether the size is very high or size is low.
Sir,
that I think effect size is very technical term in terms of our statistics, how we will define it.
By checking this Wills lambda, the Wills lambda value. If you find that is the Wills lambda is close to 0, that means effect size is very high. Next.
Applications of MANOVA. MANOVA is used in a wide range of fields, including psychology, education, medicine, and social sciences. Some common applications include examining the impact of teaching methods on multiple outcome measures such as student performance, satisfaction, and engagement. Comparing the effect of different treatment on multiple health outcomes such as blood pressure, cholesterol levels, and quality of life. Investigating the impact of social interventions on various behavioral and psychological outcomes. Of MANOVA application. Consider a study examining the effects of different types of therapy, such as cognitive behavioral therapy, psychodynamics therapy, and no therapy on patients' anxiety and depression levels. The dependent variables are the anxiety and depression scores, and the independent variables is the type of therapy. Here, H0, there are no difference in anxiety and depression scores among the therapy groups. HA, there are differences in anxiety and depression scores among the therapy groups. Ensure that the data meet the assumptions of MANOVA. Import the data into statistical software and run the MANOVA. If MANOVA is significant, conduct post-hoc test to determine which therapy groups differ on anxiety and depression scores. Present the result, including the MANOVA test statistics, p-value, and post-hoc test results. Conclusion. MANOVA is a powerful statistical technique that allows researchers to analyze multiple dependent variables simultaneously. It provides a comprehensive understanding of how groups differ on a combination of outcomes, and is useful in a wide range of research fields. While it has certain limitations and assumptions that must be met, its advantages make it a valuable tool for complex experimental designs. Understanding and properly applying MANOVA can lead to more accurate and insightful research findings.
Very good. Thank you, Kavita. So now everything is clear about the MANOVA, or any question?
Yes, sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
Sir, when after doing the post hoc, how come the ANOVA is helpful? Why do we do that? And I mean, what implications it will have?
Yeah, if you find that is the MANOVA is significant,
Yes.
then you can do the ANOVA. And if you find that is the ANOVA is also significant, then you can check the post-hoc by using the Tukey's test. You can use the Tukey's test or shape test or Duncan test or simple T test.
Bonferroni test
Find
also.
out. Huh?
Bonferroni test also.
Yeah, you can do the post-hoc test.
Yes, sir.
She's
Bonferroni
talking
or
about
Tukey's. Bonferroni or Tukey's test also for
Why we have
post-hoc.
to do the post-hoc test?
Post-hoc test, if you find that is MANOVA is significant. For example, here you can find out the cognitive behavior therapy, psychotherapy, and no therapy. 3 groups are there. And the anxiety and depression level is the dependent variable. And you have noted that is these 3 groups have significant effect on the linear combination of anxiety and dependent variables. Always use this word, linear combination, because the anxiety and depression, they are highly correlated with each other. Okay. But we cannot say they are the multicollinearity. We cannot say. But there
Sir,
are.
what is the purpose of post-hoc? Why we are doing? When MANOVA is significant, it is enough.
If the MANOVA is significant, then you can check whether this is significant due to the cognitive behavioral therapy or due to the psychodynamic therapy or the no therapy. Then you have to do the ANOVA. Okay. So ANOVA will be post-hoc test for your MANOVA.
Okay, means the independent variables, whether they are having different effects.
Yeah, definitely. Because anxiety management or depression management due to the cognitive behavior therapy and psychodynamic therapy differs. So if you find that is the linear combination of this dependent variable, they are affected by this type of therapies, then you have to find out which therapy has more contribution. That is important.
Okay, means which independent variable is having more effect?
Yeah. Which independent variable has more effect on the linear combination of the dependent variable or the single variable? That you can check.
Okay, means in MANOVA, we are only getting the significant result that the independent variable effect on the dependent variable is significant, whether there are 2 or 3 dependent variables, but we are not going to we are getting the individual effect.
Individual effect that is there. That is whether the cognitive behavior therapy has more effect on the anxiety and the depression or not. So there the cognitive behavior therapy, the two groups will be there. No?
Sir, we are not able to see separately whether cognitive behavioral therapy is having effect on anxiety or depression. We are looking at linear combination of these two dependent variables.
Linear combination. And if you find that is linear combination is significant, then you can check as the
with ANOVA. Oh,
yeah.
with post hoc. Okay. But not separately, right, sir? That anxiety and depression, we are combining it and using.
You can check post hoc. You can check as you like.
Okay.
It depends upon researcher's own interest. There is no harm.
Okay. So we can
because
separate
this
the
type
two.
of question will come up. That is okay. You have noted the significant difference, but can you tell me that is which independent variable has more effect on which dependent variable? This question will come up. Then you have to do the post-hoc research.
So, sir, that can be done with the ANOVA also. That you do separate ANOVA with one independent, one dependent.
Yeah, you can do that. That is this cognitive behavioral therapy and the no therapy. Two groups are there, and anxiety is your dependent variable. Then you can check.
So, sir, then what is the difference between that doing differently ANOVA and post-hoc?
Differently ANOVA?
No, when we do like separately the ANOVA, like one independent, one dependent. So what is the difference between doing ANOVA separately and
No, in
post-hoc?
case of the one dependent variable and the two groups are there. Two groups are there. Two groups means two independent, one independent variable, that will be the two treatments.
Right, sir. But why two, sir? With ANOVA, we two or more. I mean, more than two. Like
yeah,
more
than two. But dependent variable will be one.
Right, with ANOVA. But MANOVA dependent can be multiple.
But in case of the MANOVA, more number of dependent variables will be there.
Right, sir. In that case, what I am understanding, sir, if I have three independent variable, like here cognitive behavioral therapy, psychodynamic therapy, and no therapy, these three groups are there independent, and my dependent, if I take one, anxiety, I can do ANOVA, and which one is having what kind of effects, that is what I want to see. I can see with post hoc.
Yeah. If you find it is
which group is having significant effect?
Which group
like
has
this?
more effect?
Yeah, more effect or significant.
In case of the ANOVA, basic assumption that depression, which is the dependent variable, will be single. But in case of the MANOVA, assumption is the dependent variable will be multiple, but they are the linearly correlated with each other.
Right.
But that
in that
should
case,
not be the multicollinearity.
Right, sir. But like in that case, if MANOVA, the dependent variable to anxiety and depression. So if I see it in as a linear combination of dependent variable, then I can see together. But if I want to see separately, then I am doing actually ANOVA, isn't it?
Yeah, as the post-hoc test.
Right.
Now it is clear. I think there is no question. Okay, now I am giving you one example. This is the simple, this is for training purpose, okay? Because this is not the good data, but only for training purpose, I am teaching you. Convert AM, VS and CYL to factors as they are categorical variables. So this is the empty cards data and empty cards $AM as dot factor. So all these three metric variables will be considered as the factor. I have taught it in earlier also. So initially you have to find out who are your factor. That is, who are your independent variable. After, you have to think about your dependent variable. Here dependent variable is the MPG, DISP and HP. So these three variables, they are your dependent variable. And here you can find out the C bind, that is the column bind. And the vector is MANOVA result and MANOVA is the function. After that, there is a tilde. Tilde indicates that is what are your independent variables. You have three independent variables, AM, VS and CYL. Okay, three independent variables and three dependent variables. Your data is empty curves. Summary of MANOVA. Initially, you have to do the summary MANOVA result test Wills lambda. Okay. After that, since it is significant, I am assuming, therefore, I am doing the summary of ANOVA for each response variable. Summary, that is the AOV bracket MANOVA result. Summary dot AOV bracket MANOVA result. So the MANOVA result, you will get the summary. So summary of the MANOVA. Now here you can find out the Wills lambda. Okay. And here you can find out the VS has more effect on the combination of the three dependent variables. Linear combination of the three dependent variables. VS has more effect because it is 0.20. Okay. And this is the next one, AM. After that, the cylinder, 0.32. And they are significant. Next is the summary of ANOVA. So summary of ANOVA, here you can find out the three independent variables are there and their effect on the single dependent variable. Here you can find out the F value. Particularly for MPG, more effect is there in case of the AM. Okay. And VS, but not the CYL. So MPG is the dependent variable. MPG is affected more by the AM and the VS. Similarly, the response, that is the DISP. DISP is more affected by VS. This is the F value. F value indicates the more effect. What is the effect? So you can find out the maximum effect, that is the 72. Okay, 0.96. More effect is there in case of the VS. And HP. Again, you will get the HP's VS has more effect in comparison with the AM and CYL. Okay. So this is the post hoc test. Initially, you have to do the MANOVA. After that, you have to do the ANOVA. This ANOVA is for the post-hoc test. Okay. This is clear now. So this is all about the MANOVA.
सर जहाँ पे हम लोग फंक्शन लिख रहे थे यहाँ पे बस एक मिनट से टिल्डा के बाद हम कैटेगोरिकल वेरिएबल्स को प्लस करके लिख रहे हैं, प्लस करके लिखेंगे। नहीं नहीं सर, ऊपर ऊपर सर, ये फंक्शन में यहाँ पे
प्लस प्लस होना चाहिए।
अच्छा अच्छा,
ये तो आपका इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल है ना?
जी जी,
तो ये तो प्लस होना चाहिए।
अच्छा, इसको प्लस करके इंडिकेट करते हैं, ठीक है सर।
हाँ, वही फंक्शन है,
ठीक है
नॉट द कॉमा, इट इज
ओके
प्लस।
ओके सर।
Automatically it assumes that these three are the independent variables.
ओके,
And
और
this
सर
is
जब
this C bind,
डिपेंडेंट,
that is the dependent variable.
सर डिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल को जब इंडिकेट कर रहे हैं तो कॉमा से अलग करेंगे और इंडिपेंडेंट को प्लस में प्लस लगा के।
Plus plus.
ओके,
If you want to take only one variable, then you can write down tilde am. These things
Okay.
are not required. But
Okay,
if you
okay.
want to add something, some more independent variable, then you can add it.
और सर फिर हम सी बाइंड में ही बता रहे हैं कि हमारा डेटा क्या है, एम्प्टी कार्स।
हाँ, C bind तो होना ही चाहिए.
ठीक है,
Because
sir.
this will be the linear combination of the three variables.
ओके सर, गॉट इट।
Okay.
ओके सर।
MANOVA is very, very important in your survey research. If you want to do the survey research, and you can do the MANOVA, provided you have the different strata of the groups, then that will be better. Okay.
Sir, sample size, sir.
Sample size should be very high. 400, 500 like that. It should be very high because the groups will be there now. Whatever I have presented, that is the training data. This is not the very good data, because if you want to study the multicollinearity, you will find that is the multicollinearity is very poor.
Sir, how to come to a conclusion that multipolarity is present and multipolarity is not present?
You can do it because you have the RStudio, so you can apply it.
But how we will come to conclusion that multipolarity is present?
You can do the simple analysis, that is the correlation.
Okay, from the correlation matrix.
In earlier class, I have taught lower core by
Okay, sir.
using the psych package.
Okay, sir.
I have taught. The correlation structure of the dependent variable, I have already taught. Here the number of observation very small. So in your case, number of observation should be very high. Minimum 400 if there are more number of groups. Hamida madam, is it okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I understand that is despite of your very the crisis in Bangladesh. We are very much shocked also. We
Yes,
can
sir.
feel,
Yes,
we
sir.
can
Thank you.
feel the problems of Bangladesh. We can understand.
Yes, sir.
Therefore, we are arranging YouTube video also, so that the Bangladesh students, they can get opportunity through the video.
Yes, sir. The videos are very helpful. So if we miss classes,
Yeah,
we
you can
follow.
share it.
Yeah.